right, man. Now we're recording. Actually recording this time. We're going to start off with an advertisement for Unseen Cove, the best shirts, hoodies, hats that you can get on the interwebs right now. Check it out, www.unseencove.com. It's dope. Help and support. Next thing is for the people who want to save some money while helping save the planet. Want to switch over to solar instead of dealing with these dirty oil companies that are robbing your pockets.
Go green.
Yeah, go green. Help the environment. Emails in the description. Just let us know your area, and we'll set you up with a professional. We'll see what we can do for you. Hopefully, we can do something good. And the final one, which is actually a special one. Big day, you know. Berry Goose Records. Just started up
Finally
today.
open.
Officially a record label.
Awesome,
Shout out to you, and we'll jump right into it, man. I want to talk about that. How's it going so far?
It's great, man. I've been putting it together for a while in my head. Just trying
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, man. Just trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to get things done. Yeah, man. I finally opened it up. I got my first business that I've ever opened. I'm a business owner now.
I'm a business owner. Welcome to the world of entrepreneurship. But just like, what was the process for you? What's the goal? What's the motivation for the label? What makes you different?
Love music, and I gotta create. I gotta keep on creating.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that is. Really, what it comes down to is, aside from me having to create for myself. Mm-hmm. And just doing it for me, I was raised in a family of musicians, so my cousins play. I've seen them play. They'll perform at parties. They get paid. They get booked for some gigs. And I'm sure at some point at a younger age, they're like in their 30s now. Some of them are business owners, and some of them have regular jobs, and they still perform on the side and make some extra cash just doing what they love. And I'm actually one of them. Shout out to Pablo. What up, P?
Yo, Pablo.
He actually was popping back in the day in Dominican Republic, and he was like really recording. He was in studios with like really big artists, and he was getting signed and things like that. But he was messed up, and he was messing around with drugs and shit like that back in the day. So he kind of got off the path. His voice got fucked up, so he wasn't singing properly. But I know they had their dreams of becoming artists at the time. And shit, I'm my own artist, and I watch a lot of interviews, and I love hearing people speak. So a lot of the times when I go ahead and watch artists and they'll go ahead and sign their labels and things like that, everybody always gets into problems with the labels, or they just have business issues. It's never necessarily the creativity problems or anything like that. It's more of on the business side. And everybody always says, hey, stay independent, do your own thing, and just keep pushing.
Yeah, that's huge, man. Man. Especially when it comes down to doing it for the creative purpose. You want to do it because you're in love with the art, but then you go and you start working with a company, a business that is not in it for the art. They're in it for the business. There's always going to be those conflicting interests, and you're going to lose some of it. So that makes a lot of sense to do it on your own. And that just seems like more and more, like now with the internet and all these other opportunities we have and all these
changing all of it. Internet has changed everything, bro.
Exactly. And the little technologies that we have, it allows people to do things like you're doing. You know what I mean? It wasn't easy to just start a label or start a fucking clothing company or whatever it was. So it's cool. And you're seeing these transitions with everybody now. And that obviously is the way to go now, is do it on your own.
But yeah, my whole real purpose is just to go ahead and put out my stuff independently, and then protect myself legally so I could go ahead and release it through my business. But more importantly, a dream of mine is to go ahead and one day share a stage with my cousins. That's a real dream of mine. And what I would like to do is just go ahead and they already have material, they already have music, but they don't have necessarily the brains. They didn't grow up in this time. They're in their mid-30s now, going to 40s. They don't know how to really hack the internet, and I'm learning that now. We grew up in different times, so my goal is just to go ahead and release their music too, and sign them as artists, and let me be the business owner and just help them put their stuff out, and let them have full creative control, and just help them get let's make some money off of this. You know what I'm saying? The work's already done. Let's put this shit out there as creatives and get this thing going. So
yeah, you'll be like the motivator, the engine to keep things going, and they'll still get to create because that's what they want to do. I'm sure that's the only thing they care about, and then extra money in their pocket, which is always good because that's just what it is, man. When you put in the effort into the things that you want to do, the money just comes in on its own because you're making obviously the product's got to be good.
You're true to you, staying true.
Again, if you don't have the talent, there's nothing you could do about it. That's gone. But if you actually truly love the thing and you are you're capable of doing, you have the talent, and the rest just comes in. And then the way I look at it, man, just especially with this thing, it's not, I'm detaching from that. I don't care about the money, even though I do. It'd be nice because then we don't have
we all want to check, but
yes.
Integrity is important.
Yeah, because once you start, again, you're getting off the path and you're not focused. Now you're a business. Now you're just thinking about the numbers. Now you're not putting out the product that you actually love. And your love is what actually makes the quality of the product that you're making, So it's cool. It's nice to see all these little progressions that we're all making and just.
I'm a business owner, man. I never thought that would be the case, but it's happening. Shout out to Stones Throw Records too. Cause,
why is that?
Peanut Butter Wolf really inspired me, which is.
I've never had one. It sounds delicious. What is? I don't know what that is.
He's just the person that went ahead and opened Stones Throw Records, which is where Mad Lib's on, MF Doom, shit like that.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
He gives these artists full creativity, or a lot of creativity, and just signing music that he actually loves and releasing it that way. So, just being able to watch people that I really admire and seeing the way that they did it, and it's like, yeah, I know that this isn't going to be an overnight thing. This isn't going to be an overnight success. I'm probably not going to make money for years. But you know what? The main reason I opened it is because I'm interested in seeing what the hell this is going to be in 20 years.
Yeah. And you can't really
it's my
see
baby.
That. There's no way of seeing that now.
No. I mean, I could see it. I could have my vision for it. Nobody else is going to understand it.
But it's just a vision, and it's not going to be what you expect. It might be something better. You don't know.
You never know.
Or you might change. You be like, that's not what I want to do. I want to do it a little bit like this. Whatever it is. But it's cool. But I want to point out the one thing you said was how... Fuck. Sorry, I went on for a little side rant because I was trying to think of the first thing you said. No, well, whatever. It'll come back to me. But
hit me.
The motivational video we watched earlier, the TED Talk. That's another. Again, those two things I was holding on to. That was one thing I was holding on to was speaking things into existence. And 100%. You saying I'm a business owner and it being created and all that, like that's what it comes down to first.
Yep.
Because you have to have that vision and you have to be able to speak it into existence and make sure that you hold yourself accountable so that, it can eventually
nobody's going to do it for you.
Nah, man. No way.
It's interesting, too, because one of the main reasons that I even got into, we love music. We grew up in a culture where music is very important. Food, music, people dancing, all of that. So one of the main reasons I got into even creating music is just I would listen to a lot of artists. Like, for example, I could go back and listen to a Busta Rhymes album. One of his first albums, The Coming. Like, his style in that album only is in that album. As he progressed, he evolved and things changed. But I'm not gonna hear that again. That album doesn't extend past those X amount of songs that are in there, and I wanted to hear more stuff like that. So I started creating stuff and, being influenced by things and just creating things that I wanted to hear. It's all about, it sounds selfish, but it's all about me. Nobody else is going to create that. That's already been done. Nobody's going to create it. So let me create what I want to hear. And that's how I just started. But, man, I started when we always messed around, for little freestyles and things like that.
Freestyles. Anybody who listens to hip hop has to. You can't not at least dabble in freestyle. Even if you're shy, you fucking freestyle in your head while you're in the car and the beat's going on
by yourself in the shower.
Because it comes natural when you hear the music because it's just you just dive into it. It's like you watch fucking basketball players. You want to shoot the ball around. Exactly. These are your heroes. You idolize these people and you want to imitate what they do. And freestyling, yeah. So you were saying, we've been freestyling for a while, but how long have you been making?
I think I was 21. 21 when I started.
Okay.
So
okay.
5 years in.
So 5 years in, yeah.
I'm 26 now.
And
it's funny, man, how time we were in California.
Yeah, I remember the moment. I remember when it happened. It was it's like a heathen started the inspiration,
True.
And that's one thing, man, being able to see someone who, because when you see these people on TV doing these things, they're gods to us. They're
people
not
in
realistic.
the box.
Yeah, they're in a box. They're not real to us. So when they do it, we can easily make the excuse like, no, they're special. But then when you see somebody who and you see them eye to eye, they're human. You know their flaws. You truly love these people, and you see them show you that talent, and then they can do it. And it's like, oh shit. We're capable of doing this. Mm-hmm. Christian's our cousin. He's one of our best friends. So seeing him do that is like, oh, we can do that.
Yeah.
And it's way more inspiring than seeing, an idol do it.
The crazy part about how that whole thing started was he was just like, yo, man, I've been writing these raps and check out. He spit a freestyle and everybody, we were all there. And he just had some shit written down and he had it and he just showed us and it was awesome, which inspired us like, all right, let's just send some stuff back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, this is how amazing technology is. Back in the day, it used to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to have a studio and,
That's why I brought up the technology thing. Yeah, you couldn't do this before.
Dude, we were doing all this shit just through our iPhones. A voice memo. We'll go ahead and write it in our notes. This was the studio right here. Look at the size of this. This was the studio. This is how we did it. We will go ahead and write our little raps or whatever down in our notes. We'll record a voice memo and send it to each other over iMessage. And hear like 4 bars, 6 bars, 8 bars. And that's how we just started creating little things. And now I'm 5 years into this and I'm a business owner. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how things happen.
And that's how people do it, man. You start off small with what you have. It's so easy to be like, oh yeah, when I get the right equipment and when I have $100,000 and I'll open up a studio. Like no. Take your phone out. You already have a supercomputer in your pocket. Talk into it and work from there. Media Fibna, so my company. I've been a business owner
you've been a business
for
owner
a couple of years now. So I'll show you the ropes.
Thank you for the inspiration.
Absolutely,
sir.
Man. Thank you for the inspiration. And I started with a GoPro. That was my first camera. Now we're working with something bigger and badder now, and it's a slow process. And
how much you pay for that GoPro when you first started?
It's not a cheap camera. It's not
like $500.
I think I spent like $400 on it. So it wasn't like I could afford it, but it was just what the thing could do.
Exactly.
And it was like, but it wasn't 20 years ago when you're spending $100,000 or what. I'm throwing numbers up. I don't know, but that's the whole deal. You wanted to start a show or record a skit or record a music video. You were spending a lot of money. You needed all this equipment. You need a studio to like produce other things. I just have a computer. The computer that I use for Facebook, I can also use it for fucking producing crazy videos and high quality videos. I'm using the same programs that they're using for Deadpool and Avengers. It's the same programs everybody's using now because it's just everything's getting scaled down and cheaper, and it's awesome because most people don't realize it because again it's this big task, this fearful thing to approach. You can accomplish your dreams. You can create the things you want to create. Not everybody wants to be creative. Not everybody needs to be. But those creative people now can do that, and they're going to realize that more and more. Like, oh shit, I can do a lot of this stuff on my phone and my computer. And we're going to see a lot more creative, unique, and out of this world pieces of art now. Yep. Because everybody's going to be able to, everybody who is creative is going to be able to do it. I want to go on a little side tangent. Jordan Peterson, huge philosopher, psychoanalyst guy. He's changing the way a lot of people think now. He's making me realize that, he's been talking about how, creativity isn't a common thing. Because, they tell kids, oh, yeah, anybody can be creative. Everyone can do this. And it's not how it works. It's actually like in your DNA.
Yeah, some people are just not built that way.
And that's fine.
They're great at other things.
Nothing will fucking get done, But those people that, you know, you have that ability to do it and it comes naturally. You know when you're creative, you know what I mean? You dream differently, you think differently,
feel different.
Buy a fucking $400 computer, buy the microphone or the notebooks and color pencils, whatever you got to do. Create the things you create and put that out there, because it has a huge impact on people, man. I see a painting and that just like shifts my day a little bit. Now the wiring of my brain is thinking about this otherworldly things, and it's fun, man. And I like that. I mean, personally, I like all of it. I like recording and I like drawing and I like music, you know. Invite me to the studio sometime. But next time I'm in the area.
Of course. We got big things coming, man. Don't worry. But yeah, man, back to the inspirational video that you were talking about, like, this morning.
Yeah.
This morning, I just woke up. I've been watching a lot of inspirational videos, some marketing videos, things like that, trying to get tips and ideas of, you know, just inspiration for what I'm going to promote my music with or promote my business with, so on and so forth. And this morning, I just went ahead and came across a TED Talk where this guy was just going in about...
Shout out to Ted.
Just going in about your dreams and actually making it happen. And it was just, I cried this morning, man. I saw this motivational video, and it was just like, this dude had 2 felonies. He couldn't get a job, so he created his own job. To being a person that was sitting in the TED Talks audience to a year later speaking, having his own TED Talk. And I'm a true believer in, if you can see it, you can hold it. That type of idea. And it might be tough to go ahead and to believe that you can do it, but yo, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody's gonna believe in you more than you believe in yourself, type of deal. You know, like, you want something to get done, nobody's gonna do it for you, man. You gotta do that.
Like a big message that you're like.
Well, nobody. I shouldn't say.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Sorry, I shouldn't say nobody's gonna believe in you more than you believe in yourself, but
it's less likely. Yeah. You don't believe in yourself.
You don't believe in yourself. How can you expect somebody else to believe?
There you go.
You know?
That is But now, what I was gonna go towards is like a thing that is a big way of perspective on the way we think, and it can change how you look at life. Are you familiar with locus of control?
This sounds familiar.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure you've heard about it.
Controlling what you can control type of deal?
No, well, I'll explain. So there's 2 locus of control, LOCUS. There's an inner and there's an outer. Okay. So inner is when you realize that you are kind of in control of certain things, or if you have an outer, you're thinking it's the world. You know what I mean? So you're like the dude on the TED Talk. You know what I mean? He couldn't get a job because he was a felon. Nobody wants to give him a job. The system is working against him. It's literally working against him. But he didn't go, he didn't have an outer locus of control. He wasn't thinking like, there's nothing I could do about it because the world doesn't want me to work, so I'm just going to give up and I'm going to live in a box. That's an outer locus of control. It's nothing I can do. It's external.
Right.
Instead, he had an inner locus of control and was saying, hey, what can I do about it? Yeah, I'm a felon. Yeah, they're not going to hire me. But doesn't mean that I have no control over my destiny. And what he did instead was he started his own business, and that's how he's now successful. He's making more money than the average person is now. Yeah. And that's a stronger way of thinking. If you're having a bad day and you're sitting there bitching because your boss is an asshole, or your parents fuck you over, or whatever. There's millions of excuses we can make.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to...
The victim.
Yeah, exactly. You're a victim. Everybody's against me, you know? You're going nowhere with that attitude. And that's a big thing, is having that inner locus of control and then starting your business. Again, Mr. Business Owner, you know what I mean? You can sit here and wait and be like, you know... one stone throw signs me up, or good music signs me, then I'm gonna be coasting. I just gotta wait for my ship to pull in. But no, you decided to do it on your own, and that is how people are gonna create success for themselves.
You know what's crazy, man? I remember years ago when I first started thinking, like, man, I would love to be signed to a record label. Well, that would still be cool, you know what I'm saying? I would love to go ahead and do a partnership deal or something like that. I don't really want to necessarily be owned and by somebody, but I'm definitely open to working with people, doing collaborations or distribution deals and so on and so forth. But I remember being younger and wanting to be official, wanted to officially release music and do all these things and have other people accept me as this artist, so on and so forth. And as I started reading books and watching inspirational videos and things like that, like, all of this shit is in your head, bro. Kanye, at the end of the day, is still recording with similar equipment that I'm recording with. And he's doing this in a room. You know what I'm saying? He's doing this in a regular room. We're doing the same type of stuff. Obviously, different levels of talent, so on and so forth. But what validates you? What are you choosing to validate you? Am I gonna sit there and be like, oh, my stuff isn't valid because a whole bunch of people, I don't have a million followers yet? Like, no. My shit has value because I gave it value. This is important to me. And I don't need somebody else to give this value. I'm gonna give it value first. And I started thinking, it was almost like kind of crazy, but like, it's all in your head, man. It's all in your head. I'm doing all of this stuff, and me and this other millionaire person, we're doing the same thing, bro. We're doing the same exact thing. You might have a machine behind you. I don't. I am my own machine. And the second I started getting over, like, I don't need a record label or this multi-million-dollar business behind me to validate me. Like, if I got signed right now, I'd still be living in this place. I'd still be eating the same food. Yeah. I'd still be doing most likely the same type of process, maybe in a different studio, maybe working with other producers and other artists, so on and so forth. But I'm still writing my songs. I'm still coming up with these things, these ideas, so on and so forth. But does that validate me? No, my talent's what validates me, what I give to it. So the way I started looking at it was like, I started creating my own little world in my head.
Okay, yeah. That's what creative people do.
Yeah, I started creating my own little world, and I just convinced myself that it was important to me, therefore it's important. Not because this person said it was important. It's important to me first. And I created this world, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do all of these things that they're doing anyways, and that's what's going to validate me. Now we're doing the same thing, maybe on different scales, but we're doing the same thing. So I think that's what was like one of the breaking points for me, was just, like I said, validating myself and me giving whatever it is that I'm creating value, instead of letting other people determining whether your stuff is valuable or not.
Yeah, it starts.
Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. No, yeah, absolutely. It starts with knowing yourself and knowing what you want out of life.
Exactly.
Because, like, for example, there's people who are probably listening and be like, yeah, I want to be a musician. I want it, when they actually don't. You know what I mean? Like, that's, they want the fame because or whatever. Like, that's gonna validate them.
Exactly.
Yes, because now I get all the pussy and all the gold chains that I want, and that's what's gonna make me happy. When in reality, it's not. So figuring out who you are and finding out what's actually gonna bring you happiness and it's gonna bring value to your life starts there, and then you can start jumping into, doing the fucking thing. Then you go and you start making that happen. And again, it's not about having a million fans. It's about making the song. It's about making that piece of art. It's about building that table or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You do that thing, and then it's about that process.
Exactly.
Nothing else. It's not about the fame. Oh, exactly, because that's what people want from life, and Americans really put too much value on being loved, but it's not even love. It's just this weird.
Fans are fickle. It's not real.
No, it's not, and that's what people want. They think they want that. And that's why you have all these people who go and they actually, they make it happen. Because they the light at the end of the tunnel for them is fame, and then they get there and they're miserable, and people go like, why are they miserable? They have everything. No, they don't have everything, because they don't have the right fucking process in their brain that allows them to realize what's actually important, what they actually want. They thought having 1 million followers or having a certain zeros and ones in their fucking bank account was gonna make them complete. But it's not that. It's that process. It's that hours and hours and hours that you spend in the studio that don't seem like success, or it doesn't seem like, you know, you're being productive because you're putting a minute at a time, but it's about the huge scale of it. You said, was it 20 years from now? Who knows what your record label could be? That's when you know what it is. Mm-hmm. After 20 years, you're not going to know about it after a week of doing it. And that's why a lot of people fail, because they don't understand the compound effect. They don't understand that it's going to take a while to build the thing up. Mm-hmm. And that's what really gives us purpose, is having this thing to keep chasing. Because once you get the success and the fame, then what do you do? No.
Like, what are you done?
Yeah, you're done now. You're going to sit back and now you can chill on the beach? No, you're going to be fucking miserable. You need something to do. You need a driver. And that's what people need to realize. It's about that, the struggle, the suffering. Life is suffering. Exactly. Buddhists have been talking about this for years, and that's really what it is. You know, you go, like for me, for example, sometimes recording shit is a fucking pain in the neck. Mm-hmm. It's frustrating. You know, you spend hours editing, you lose a file, or it's raining on a day that you needed, whatever it is. That's the fun part. Mm-hmm. You don't see it in the moment because you're frustrated and you're like thinking about like, oh, I need this thing to be perfect. But you should have that mentality. You should strive for perfection.
That's why it's there. That's why we had the idea of perfection, to strive for it. But it's never gonna be. Mm-hmm. What is that? What is perfection?
But the thing that really brings you true happiness and true purpose is all that struggling and suffering to go towards it, and that makes you a better person. Like we were talking about it, we have these things that we made in the past that are practically nothing to us now, and it's like, oh, we wasted our time. No, because now we're better at it. Now we can do this.
Yep.
We wouldn't have the microphones and the cameras and the lighting and the way we think. We wouldn't have that without that struggle. And it's cool, man, because that's what I feel like life is. I think we're here to suffer. I think we're here to grow and learn and get knocked down every turn that we get, and then grow and learn.
And it's all about just getting back up. So you might look at it as the struggle. Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Or the failure. You know how many times I failed, man? And how many times I have to keep on getting up? Like, I'm going to create, I'm going to be creating for 6 years or something before I get a true fan base and things like who knows? You know what I'm saying? 6 years from now. Yeah. Not even including the 5 that I've already put in. You know what I'm saying? Not including the hours that I've been thinking about this. It's really, putting in your 10,000 hours into this whole process. Mm-hmm. But it's about getting up, man. When I first started, when I went ahead and invested, let me spend $800 on the software and a push 2 to go ahead and start making beats and things like that, and getting a record player and buying records and stuff. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I started paying for lessons. To teach myself this stuff. I literally spent like the first 3 months of me trying to do this. I would sit down for like 3 hours a night, bro. Sit down for like 3 hours a night and not get anything out of it.
You think you don't get anything out of it because you don't have a physical thing to hold in your hands, and that's how we think. We think in materials. You're not realizing like this growth.
You don't know it. And that's when I saw it took a really long time. It took probably like a year into it, and like beat making and things like that. That specifically beat making, because I was just terrible. I used to write my raps or whatever, but with beat making, I still suck. But like in the beginning, I wasn't getting anything, dude. You know how many smacks in the face I used to get when I used to sit down 3 hours a night, 5 days a week, and get nothing out of it? Mm-hmm. And then I'd lay down in my bed and be like, I got nothing again. For
Why
months.
am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? I suck. I would go to my lesson. I'd be like, and I would tell my instructor, I'm like, I don't think I'm meant for this. I don't think I'm good at this. Mm-hmm. I don't think I should do this anymore. Mm-hmm. But I just kept on showing up. There was a good amount of time where my computer's my workstation. I didn't want to sit in my computer chair anymore because that's where I worked. And I felt inside that I was just like, why am I going to go and sit down again when I already know that the last 2 months I've been sitting down. I've put in so many hours into this thing and I got nothing out of it. You think you're getting nothing out of it. But, what pushed me forward was, if I get this much better today,
that's something.
That's it. I got this much better today. Yeah. and you keep on adding those hair follicles up, you're gonna get some. I'm gonna be this much better in a year. You know, and I was at nothing. So the struggle, the failure. And some people think that success is a straight line. It's like, nah, that's not what it is.
You're going to take a couple steps back. You're going to fucking go in the wrong direction. You know, you're walking home. You're like, yeah, I'm only 10 blocks home, like, till I get home. And then you realize you walk 10 blocks the opposite direction. Now you're fucking 20 blocks away from your house. And then we do that.
And then you found $10 on the floor and got the money to pay for a cab to bring you home. I don't know.
No, that's shit like that happens where it's like, you know, you think you're going in the wrong direction, but you're, you know, that's what you needed to do because you got better by doing that thing. And that's just one problem in the way we think, because it's we're in time. You know what I mean? We're literally in a moment, and we can't for so much think so much out of it. You can think, oh, you know what I'm doing tomorrow, or what I want to do in a year, but you can't see 5 years out, 6 years out. You can't understand that, especially when you're a kid. How do you think in 10 years when you're 10? You can't. You just can't.
Yeah, you know, can't even see it. You have an idea like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be 40 one day. Hopefully.
Yeah. It's just dreaming at that point. And it's so because of that, we only see us getting things from instant gratification. So you go and you sit down on a computer and you make a beat, and then the first time you make a beat, it doesn't happen for people, and you make a masterpiece on your first time. Oh shit, I did it, you know what I mean? And then after that, like, you don't make something, and it's like, oh no, I'm supposed to gain something from that. Why didn't I create something this time? Oh my god, I'm terrible, I'm failing at this. And then you try a couple times, and because again, you're not thinking in 5 years, you're not thinking in 100 attempts, you're thinking in 3 attempts. You want that instant gratification. Reward me now, you know? Like, when to put perspective on, like, sales, for example, you're gonna get 10 no's before you get a yes. But if you treat it like you're gonna get a yes every time, well, guess what? After 3 or 4 times, you're gonna be like, fuck this, I'm not making any money, I'm done. And guess what? You just fucking missed out on the money, because if you went a couple more times, you would have gotten it. But we think now. We think I need to be rewarded, and I need to be rewarded by something physical and something that I can see, because we don't realize that growth and experience is in itself a reward, you know?
100%.
And that's what separates these fucking billionaires from the people who or these, whether they're billionaires or they're just successful artists or entrepreneurs. They're different because they can take failure, because they don't see failure as failure.
Because it's not. It's really not.
It's not. It's attempts. It's
a learning
experience. Yeah.
XP points.
yeah.
So that's the gamers.
Yeah, and it's funny when you think of like RPGs, like you fucking kill a monster and you're like, oh my god, I'm never gonna fucking level up. But you know, if you're obsessed with the fucking game, you're gonna fucking put 5 hours into it, and then you can level up. Because you had to kill 1,000 little boars just to get, you know, I know this is a fucking silly example, but just to put it in perspective on the people who can think in that way. And I remember doing that as a kid, playing these games, and I wasn't realizing there's this huge message behind it, that you have to fucking grind and keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing, and then you'll get the reward. You're not going to get the reward the first time, and we think that way. I want to be famous now. I want to have money now. I want the girl now. I want the house now. No, motherfucker. If you want something, that's, again, I feel like why we're here is to learn and get better at these things and learn how to struggle, because the things that are easy are are barely worth what you expect it to be. You know?
You had a good point somewhere. I was gonna go somewhere.
Yeah, sorry. I know. That's why I'm like, let me wind down my point, because I know I fucking just hit you with like 10 different things, even though, you know. But yeah.
But it's totally true, man. Like, and this is what I was now I remember.
Beautiful.
That if we got that instant gratification from everything, it wouldn't be as sweet.
Nah.
You know, and you might go ahead and work 10 years or whatever it is to get, you know, I'm putting these 10,000 hours, and then I got that thing that I wanted, whatever it is. But like you were saying before, it's not going to make you whole. It's not going to fill that void. It's about the process. And I keep on referencing like Beatmaking, things like that, but I really learned after a while that it was just like, after a year in, so on and so forth, I was just like, I understand now. I understand that this is what it is. It's not, oh, I'm an artist and I make these beats and everything. You know how many bad beats you have to make before you can make one beat? You know what I'm saying? But when you do make that one thing that inspires you, you're on an ultimate high, man. When I go ahead and I write it, there's no other high. Other artists understand this. When you write a song, or when you write a script, whatever it is, and it's something that you're really proud of and you feel, there's nothing like that high.
No way.
Nothing
no
like
way.
that.
Yeah, especially when it's something big. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like we're gonna keep using music and art but this applies with anything for creating business, where, yeah, you can make a song, but what is it when you make an album? You know what I mean? A big thing that took you longer. It took you a couple months. It took you a year. You know what I mean? You could make like
years.
Yeah.
You know, you could go ahead and say, "Hey, it took me a year to make this project." Nah, man, it took your whole life to get there.
Yeah. That's what everything, man. It took my whole life to get to this very moment. Is that fucking crazy?
Exactly.
Everything that I did literally brought me to where I'm sitting now in the conversation that we're having. Like, I always look back like, damn, I shouldn't have went to fucking college. I wasted money. I'm still in debt, and fucking I spent all that time there when I could have been doing this, but I wouldn't think the way I think. At all. I wouldn't be sitting the way I'm sitting right now, talking the way I'm talking.
And not saying don't go to college, but like all that school stuff is really built to get you a job, to work for somebody else. It's exciting to think about being an entrepreneur. I'm not there yet, man, but I'm working on it. My bills are not paid off of the stuff that I built. It's not for everybody. Not everybody can do it. But I want to be an entrepreneur, and I'm going to keep on chipping away at this thing until, hey, you know what? I have a little bit of income coming in from here. I'm going to have a little bit coming in from there. You know, eventually to the point where I could build it up where I'm living off of my art, off of my businesses, these things that I created. And looking back, I'm going to be like, wow, look at the journey behind that. Look at the process behind that. And that's what people have to fall in love with. It's the work. It's the waking up at 6 a.m. and you're grunting. It's like, I don't want to do this thing. And then you can look back and be like, look at what I did. Look at where I am now.
Nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants to work hard. I wouldn't say nobody. It's a weird thing to say, but you know what I mean. We don't want to. We don't want to deal with the hard part of it. But that is, again, what is going to make you happy. Because, you can be, on your 40th birthdays when you made the $1 billion and you made all the projects that you want, you're gonna get fucking bored eventually. So now it's time to strive for the next thing. All right, now what's this thing that I can reach? Because you got to keep moving, because movement is what brings you happiness. Literally, depression is not, you're unstable, not unstable, unmoving. You're not making any progression. You're stuck. You're stuck in the mud. You know what I mean? Stuck in the mud. You got to keep moving. You got to keep moving, because that's, when you think about it on an evolutionary perspective, the animal that just sits there and waits around, it's not going to go anywhere. They're not going to find food. They're not going to find a mate. They're going to die, and they're gone, DNA. Now, the animal that's hungry, you know what I mean? He's out there, and it doesn't matter how long it takes him. When he gets, he's going to keep pushing until he finds his food, and he finds his mate, and he reproduces, and that DNA is what's going to keep going. So that's why when we stay and we don't do anything, we're going to wither away, because that's not how we survive. That's not how we keep moving, you know what I mean? And that's one thing that, if that piece of, and it's not even just the information of it, like putting that in people, like, you need the wisdom of what that is. Like you said, when you first started making music, you didn't realize what it was, that you needed to just keep fucking chipping away at it. And then you get this wisdom. You won't understand this as a 15-year-old. When you talk to a high school kid, most of them aren't going to understand the fact that, like, hey, you're going to have to sacrifice 4 or 5 years to put into your craft. No, you're not going to walk out of high school and make, 6 figures, most likely. You're not going to see that. But then you start getting to our age, and we still don't understand, because we don't understand what 30 years is. So then you gain that wisdom, and then when you really know that, oh, this is how it sucks. I wish there was a way to, like, upload that I don't want to call it information, like that wisdom, like, into people, where it's like, okay, this is what's going to bring me happiness. This is what's going to bring me success. This is what's going to keep me moving, so that I don't find myself fucking miserable that I wasted decades of my life unknowing
Yep.
You know, again, I was in college not knowing what I was going to do. I was just doing what they were telling me to do. Here's your next step. Go to the next one. Go to the next thing. And I look back like, oh, man, I wish I would have known that this is how it works. But, you know.
But you can't. You can't know that.
And most people don't know it. These people who, my teachers and guidance counselors, they don't know either. Most people don't know. I don't know. None of us know. I
got to the point where I started realizing, where I'm, you know, just thinking like, man, I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. You know, I have an idea. I know what I like to do. I know I like to create. I like doing these things. I know what makes me feel good, and that's the most important thing. Whatever makes you feel good, do that. Do that thing that
there's certain things, you know, like heroin. Yeah. Heroin makes me feel good.
You're gonna die.
There was another idea that I wanted to go on a side rant earlier about when you were saying that high that you get when you create. Again, creative people, they get a high off of creating. If you don't create, you're going to wither away. This is now Jordan Peterson saying that, you know, like you need that in you. If you're a social person, if you're an extrovert, you need to be around people or you're going to wither away. There is no other, like, again, I'm going to tie in all these symbols of it. The Kendrick song, Levitate, in Untitled. Like, love won't get you high like this. We won't get you high like this. It's that message that he's saying there is about how drugs, sex, fame, having all these friends, it's not going to get you high.
These things that you think are getting you high are really not. And it's also just about fucking finding inner peace, inner happiness, being content with who you are and you defining that. Not letting these other things fill you up. Because a lot of people do that. Let me chase this money and then, or let me chase this fame, as we were going back to. And then, you know, whether they get it or they don't get it, when you get it and they're still empty inside, or these billionaires that, you know, or millionaires, whatever, these rich people that finally make it and they still feel empty inside. It's because you didn't accept who you were. You weren't happy with yourself to begin with. So you thought getting this thing, getting this girl, whatever it is, was going to fill that void. Like, it's not. You have to find that shit within yourself.
And that's what I was saying. Like, it all starts with knowing who you are and knowing what you want out of life. You got an average of 70 years, if you're lucky, and you have to know what you want to accomplish in those 70 years. And you know deep down. Like, you know what I mean? You might not know what career you want to do. Yeah, that's the thing that fucking keeps you up at night. The thing that you wake up and you're like, fuck, well, I should be doing this. That shit is there. That shit ain't going away. And that is the thing that is gonna get you high, you know. And that's why we do drugs, and that's why we obsess and chase, you know, like exactly. And you're chasing these pleasures, and that's why I want, like, what brought me to this is like it's not about just what makes you feel good. Because again, instant gratification. I could go fucking bust a nut. Ooh, that's what I want, and then it goes away, and it's like, okay, what now? You know.
The thing that truly makes you feel good, not just, you know, busting a nut or you know, smoking some weed and getting that high. Like, yeah, you're gonna feel good at the moment, but like those real highs, those put in that work highs, you know,
those everlasting highs where it's not. I spent. I'm gonna keep bringing this next. I spent the whole weekend, you know, hitting bar to bar so I could get this chick, and then boom, after a couple of minutes, I got the high that I want. But now imagine something that you work for 10 years. That's a high that's gonna last. You go and you work on something like a statue or a freaking museum, something that's gonna be there beyond your, you know, lifespan. That's gonna bring you a huge amount of euphoria, you know. But like, we want these simple things, and that's what we idolize in these cultures. Because that you see it on TV, you know your contemporaries. There's plenty of musicians out there who that's what their videos are, and that's what their music is about. Is about being the popular person and getting all the girls and being able to get these cars, like. And it's not just musicians. It's like Hollywood, and it's the movies we watch, and we look at these things and we're like, oh, these are the people we want to be. No, you don't. You don't want to be those people. What you want is happiness, whatever that is. Yeah,
whatever that is to you.
Yeah, and you think
that this is gonna bring it.
Yeah, this is gonna bring it. This is it. No. Go into yourself, dig that shit out, and then you're gonna see these things that are gonna be able to really, like, it could be something as common as starting a family. That's an insane amount of happiness, an insane amount of purpose and love, and again, something that is going to live way past your 70 years. You know, you have a couple kids, you know, you're gonna have kids, descendants for God knows how long.
Yep.
And that is huge purpose, and that shit keeps you driving, keeps you going. 'Cause eventually we end up in the fucking grave, you know? And you need to stay busy this entire time because your brain is telling you need to do something. Do something, or you're going to fucking die. You're going to end up in a ditch and you're done.
And you're not only just, you're going to die. We're all going to die. But what you did, what did you do with your time here, dude? Like, did you leave your mark on earth? Did you leave something here to be remembered by? Like, you could be immortalized, and you could go ahead and live on through your work if you put in that
children
work. Or your children,
just the waves that you left behind. You know what I mean? You were just
a
good person. You just walked around, and not like you just walked around, but like you were just good to people. You know what I mean? You weren't this negative fucking energy vampire walking around. Like you actually loved people, and you were just. You know, you can make a pair of shoes. I mean, me and Rob were talking about this day. You make this beautiful pair of shoes, and then this person's wearing, and they loved wearing them, and then they gift it to a friend, and then they get that little dopamine rush in their head, and that wave just keeps going out there. Yep. And again, you could just be nice to people, and your name might not be remembered.
Don't do it for the outcome. Do it for, like we said, what makes you happy. Do it for that instead of, oh, I can't wait till I get this. If I do this, I'm gonna get that money. Like, you have to fall in love with the process, bro. You have to fall in love with that work, with that struggle. This is what we're here to do. Otherwise, going back to dying, like, one, you're gonna physically die, but if you do nothing, you have no kids, you have no purpose, you do nothing with your time. You didn't exist.
You're dead.
All. You are dead.
Yeah, because
the living dead. These people are alive, walking around aimlessly.
Zombies.
Exactly, and that's what it is. One thing that I'm like understanding more and more now is going back to the whole perfection thing. Obviously, strive for perfection, but it's never gonna be that. And sometimes just doing it and it's not perfect. That's more important because you're getting it done. Like, I'm at the point now where I'm getting close to finishing my project, my album, and LP, whatever you want to call it, demo, it doesn't matter.
Música.
But, yeah. And I'm at a point where I'm just like, I wish it sounded better. I wish I was, I had the skills and the talent to go ahead and get it to sound perfect and magical and all these things. But it's like, it's never going to be fully perfect, bro. But you know what? This whole thing that I just created and I'll be able to put out, that was X amount of experience points that I just created. So when I create the next thing, it's going to be better, so on and so forth. So things don't have to be perfect. At all. No. It's more important to just keep going, keep pushing, and keep doing that thing because
survive.
You're surviving. You're moving. You're working. But don't let the perfection hold you back, because that happened to me for a while, where I was creating for a while and I didn't have a plan, I didn't have a structure or anything like that, and I was just creating, and I was just like, I might really like it because I created it and it made me feel a way, but I didn't feel like it was good enough to give to somebody else or put it out there because it wasn't perfect. Whatever that is.
And that does hold people back
all the time,
because it's like, and it's not even when the piece is perfect, when the temperature is perfect, when everything else falls into line, that's when I'm gonna do it. Nah, that's never gonna happen. You gotta fucking plant your flag, and when you can, because if you're just waiting for things to be right, you're gonna be waiting forever. You're gonna wait forever, so you have to get shit started.
You have to make it right.
You're gonna create that perfection.
Exactly.
Because, like, I'm sure plenty of times you're hearing, a musician, and you're like, they didn't do it right. They could have made this perfect. It's like, nah, it's perfect. That's exactly what they wanted to make. That's the piece that it's there. Now, if you go, this can be made better, kind of like what you were saying earlier with Busta Rhymes, I think, then make your own version of it. Make it. You think you can make something better? It's not that they need to make it better.
But it was just like, this the way I saw it was this album doesn't extend, you know. So I'm not gonna hear that anymore. So let me create it on my own.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like you were critiquing it. It's just like when people hear things and see things, they criticize. Oh, they're not. Yeah, they're which is good, like in certain aspects and certain balance of it. But instead of shitting on it, like the amount of haters out there, make a better version of it. If you think that there's a better way of doing it, now it's your turn. Pass on the fucking baton, and now their project led into your project, and you know what I mean. That was a stepping stone in music, for example. I love that we're tying it all to music. It's just, and that's just it. It's just,
and it's not even about me. It's just a process.
It's all
about creating. You know,
this literally applies to like having a purpose and sticking to the purpose, to the process, and loving the struggle and being okay with suffering. Like that applies to everything that you want to do that isn't something that you can accomplish in a couple minutes. Very few things that you can just do, you know. And again, those things aren't the things that are going to give you purpose and keep you moving. And you know, you're just gonna want instant gratification every time. You're not gonna get. Yeah, it's not how it works, and you gotta grind away. And it's. I wish that was just something that these simple little memes, these simple little lessons can just be taught to more people. Again, we're not doing it justice. I'm sure there's a better way of communicating these ideas, but. That's just there's only one way of doing it.
Excuse me. Keep going.
No, do your thing. We're actually running out of time.
Yeah, we're running out of time. I actually want to wrap it up with a couple final thoughts. I don't know if you had a couple final thoughts.
No,
one of my final thoughts was when I used to take my music lessons. Shout out to Mike Parada, by the way. He's taught me so much, and thank you for everything. One of my good friends and instructors. But he would just tell me like, yo, just do it. You know, do your own mixing and mastering. And I'm not there yet, but I have to start that. I'm kind of afraid to do it. It's going to be another struggle for me, but I'm going to go ahead and create some work and get some things done. And they might not be perfect right now in my head, but you know what? Later on in the future, I'm going to be able to look back and be like, you know what? That wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I didn't do as bad as a job as I thought I did. You know? And that's what it's not going to be perfect. And you might look back and be like, man, I did a lot for what I had at the time, experience-wise, and that got me to where I am now. So, I don't know, man. That's just the stuff that helped me keep pushing. And I hope you guys keep pushing and doing whatever it is that you want to do. Do what makes you happy. Do what feels right. It's never going to be perfect. What's more important is just doing it. Keep moving. Keep pushing.
Stay busy, man.
And it's not a struggle. It's the journey. You know, don't just look at it as this is so much work. This is the struggle.
I just want to fucking get to the end already.
This is the journey. Be happy. Be grateful that you're able to have this journey. There's people that dream forever, never do anything, and get nowhere. They're just empty inside.
Because they never got to manifest their dreams into reality, and then it's just a dream. And then they feel like, oh, no, it's too late. Now it's done and it's over. Where it's like, you know, you were putting 3 hours a night. 3 hours doesn't sound like much, but now it's 3 hours a night. That's 21 hours at the end of the week. That's freaking 1,000 hours at the end of the year.
15 hours at the end of the week.
Something like
60 hours a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then now you put that 60 hours at the end of the month. Where you couldn't do that in a week, you couldn't do that in a day, and that's what we expect. I want to be done with this now, but on the grand scale of things, which we can't see because we are stuck in time, that's when things start to actually manifest into the things we want them to be. Anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Nah, that's all, man.
Beautiful podcast, bro. Thank you very much. Congratulations, my friend.
You too, brother.
Welcome to the entrepreneurial world, and thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for joining.
Good night, guys.
Take it easy.